Hey everybody, Mungo Dark Matter here, and welcome to Dark Matters. Today on Dark Matters we're going to talk about the Echo Dot. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel and consider clicking the bell icon as well so you're notified when there are new videos and live streams. Alright, so I've been using the Echo Dot for a while. This dot right here, which I'm going to open right now and unbox, is a Generation 2. I actually have a Generation 1. Which I've been using for a while, and I've been using Alexa, the Echo, as well. So I'm able to kind of compare these two things pretty well. Let me just take this out of the box. We've got some instructions here. Here's the dot, and it's a little hard to get out, but there's the power adapter. So we got a power adapter. So the dot comes with some instructions here. We'll set those aside. It comes with the dot itself. It comes with a USB cable which connects to this power adapter here, so it's powered by USB, standard USB connector. The price of these dots have gone down considerably, and the reason is they made a few changes between the first generation and the second generation. The main difference between the second generation dot and the first generation dot is the second generation dot has these two buttons, plus and minus, for volume. The original first generation dot had a ring around it that you turned to adjust the volume. This is a really minor difference, particularly considering you never really adjust the volume. You usually adjust it when you set it up and get the speaker on the dot itself to the maximum volume. Then if it's too loud, you can always tell it to lower the volume with a voice command, actually. So that's a very minor difference. It's kind of cool to have the ring, and it feels really cool and everything, but I never mess with that. The main difference between the dot and the Amazon Echo is that the dot does not have a really nice built-in Bluetooth speaker. There is a small speaker in it, so you can use it without a speaker, but typically you get a dot and you connect it to a Bluetooth speaker. If you're just using it for commands, you can actually hear through the small speaker on the dot, but it's better to connect it up to a Bluetooth speaker because you can hear it better, and if you're going to play music, the speaker inside the dot is not good enough to play music through. The Amazon Dot sets up just as easily as the Echo, and the advantage to the Dot is that it's much cheaper than the Echo, and so you can put these devices around your house where your main Echo may not be able to hear you. One thing you got to be careful of, though, is if you have too many of these devices and more than one can hear you when you're in areas where you're giving a command, they can get confused. They'll both try to execute the command at the same time, so that can cause some conflicts with certain commands. So that's just something to be aware of. You want to place them where they can hear you, but where more than one can't typically hear you. This isn't always a problem because it depends on where you're giving it the commands. If they're in separate rooms, if you're in the door of the room in their adjacent rooms, they may be able to hear each other. But if you're in the rooms themselves, there may not be as much of an issue. But they can hear very well, particularly if it's very quiet in the house. So just something to be aware of. Alright, let's plug this in and see how hard it is to hook up.
Hello. Your Amazon Echo Dot is ready for setup. Just follow the instructions in your Alexa app.
Basically all we have to do now is go into the Amazon app, and since this is an additional device that I have, I'm going to just select set up a new device. And then it gives me a choice of what device I want to set up on the app, so I'm going to select Dot. It gives me a choice of what language to set up. I'm going to pick English. And then it runs you through a setup of what Wi-Fi you want to use. Then you have to go into your app and connect directly to the device so you can set it up.
You've connected to Echo Dot. Go ahead and finish the setup in your Alexa app.
And then you select your network. It asks you to connect to your speakers then. I'm not going to connect this to any speakers now, but you could go through Bluetooth. There's also a connector on the side here if you want to hardwire it into a speaker. And that looks like it. It looks like we've got it set up now. Let's ask Alexa a question. Alexa, what time is it?
It's 11:12 a.m.
And you're hearing that through the speaker within this Dot device. So you can hear it even without a Bluetooth speaker. It's just not as good of a audio quality. That's basically how the Alexa works and what the new one is like. This button right here mutes it, and if I press the mute, it puts a red ring around it and it highlights the icon on the button with red to let you know that it's muted. That's if you don't want it to be listening to you for some reason. In fact, I should have put my other Alexa device on mute before, because one from the other room kind of hears me sometimes. You basically still call it Alexa or Echo, however you have it set for the rest of your devices, so they all answer to the same name. This button right here, if I press that, Alexa starts listening. So normally Alexa will listen if she hears her voice. That's pretty much it for the Amazon Dot. I'm Mungo Dark Matter, and this has been Dark Matters. And whatever you do, enjoy technology.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.